I tried to survive 14 days in a skinwalker apocalypse. The sun is exploding, monsters wear human skin, and survival means trusting nobody. So grab some sunscreen and let's get into it. Day one was immediately crazy. My next door neighbor came over spewing some BS about how the sun was gonna explode and skinwalkers were crawling out from underground. He said they attack when people are alone, so he insisted he spend the night with me. Are you lying just so you could sleep over? I mean, look, I'm flattered and all, but you're not really my type. I ended up letting him in because he had beer, so I mean, game is game. Outside, everything was normal. Apparently, I live in a shithole where drunks laying in the street in front of my window is just a daily occurrence. So night one was over and my only fear was that my neighbor was gonna creep into my bed at night. Oh shit, he was right. Alright, well, I guess he didn't want me after all. Why am I sad? The news was entirely unhelpful as usual. They explained nothing and only told us to stay inside during the day to avoid being burned up in the sun. So as I usually do when I get bad news, I turn on some sad music and assume fetal position to accept my fate, but I ended up getting this radio broadcast saying that people were literally burning up in the sun. My neighbor said at night, strangers would be coming around seeking shelter and that I should let some of them into my home. This guy is full of great advice, isn't he? He went back home that night with his creepy daughter who came to get him from my place. I'll never forget what we had. I was completely alone now, and not a second later, there was a knock at my door. Whoa, Jesus Christ. Hello, Slender Man. The first guy was so tall I couldn't even see his face, but at least he was dressed nice. He said he got kicked out of his previous shelter for fighting and disturbing the peace. But I didn't really want to be alone and he promised not to cause any trouble, so I let him in. Plus, what if I need a center for my pickup basketball game later? The next girl appeared to have some kind of extreme scoliosis, so I was inclined to help her out, but after hearing her story, she had direct contact with visitors, saying she was chased out of her own home by them. That was a little worrying, but I decided to let her in because it seemed like she'd been through a lot. The next girl showed up in a full coat despite the outrageous temperatures outside. Super suspect. She couldn't explain why she was so cold despite the heat and refused to take off her jacket. Huge red flag. But she said she had a secret that she would share with me if I let her in. So, I'm a sucker for secrets, come on in. Do not make me a TSA agent. That was all for night 2, so I decided to call it and get some rest. The news said that visitors were creatures that can imitate the appearance and behavior of humans. They gave us a way to tell the difference between them. Perfect white teeth. Not much to go off of, but at least it's something. During the daytime, you can walk around the house and talk to your guests. Also, give them tests to make sure they are human. This video would be 8 hours long if I read through every single conversation, so I'll mostly just summarize the important parts and show you guys the interesting stuff. Despite it being 3,000 degrees and sunny out, Sweater Girl still refused to take off her jacket, insisting that she was cold. So she was the first person I tested. Her teeth looked clean, but her gums were clearly red and inflamed, so I don't think she was a visitor. Scoliosis Girl was holed up in the closet, and I was concerned because I know that she had contact with visitors before. I decided to give her a test, and the results were pretty shocking. Perfect white teeth. She couldn't even remember how her teeth got so nice, so I freaked out and pulled a gun on her. But at this point, I knew so little. Was one test enough? Were those teeth really perfect? I just didn't know. I decided against shooting her in cold blood for now, just didn't have enough information. Maybe I could test her again tomorrow. I decided to call and ask my neighbor for some advice. Wait, he left me his number? What happened that night? He said even he wasn't sure how many signs it took to tell if someone was a visitor, but to not jump to any conclusions. After interviewing people and testing the suspicious ones, I decided to call it a day. I looked out my back window and was shocked to see some corpses lying on the ground, killed recently. Oh, damn. Someone killed him. Who could have done that? Huh. Probably him. I got the answer to my question sooner than I expected. Outside my side window, one of them. A creepy, tall, pale visitor. Saggy skin, dark eyes, staring right at me through the window, motionless. I was pretty freaked out, but my next guest seemed unfazed. Kind of a weird dude, ignorant of what was going on. Chill, happy, wanting to party. Figured I could kind of use someone like that in the shelter. Someone to bring the vibes up. So, in he comes. This guy started the conversation with "hello, human," so that's not a good sign. Then he tried to tell me the sun was good and everything was happening for a reason, that the sun was here to cleanse humanity or some crazy shit like that. He was the first one I was gonna deny entry, but then he offered an interesting bribe: kombucha. In this game, kombucha lets you save your game progress, so it is a valuable item to have. I'm ashamed to say I took the bribe and let him in, but look, if he's not a human, we'll figure it out and we'll shoot him. It should be that easy, right? Right? Oh god, what am I doing? The next people were a mom and her young child. I mean, look, I'm not a monster, okay? Like, I have to let these people in. She didn't say anything that sounded suspicious or odd. She just sounded like she needed a place to rest for a little bit, so I let her in too. Okay, I've now let in every single person that has asked, so I'm a little worried about how I'm gonna go with like tests and stuff. And yeah, that's basically true. I've let every single person in that's come to my door so far. Higher acceptance rate than a community college, so I might be in some trouble here. The news said there was a new sign to test for visitors, and it was dirt under the fingernails. Apparently because visitors crawl out from underground. Kind of a long shot, but I'll take any additional info I can get at this point. There was also a new government agency formed called FEMA, dedicated to investigating and protecting people from visitors. I'm very skeptical about that. Then they showed a picture of this man, some visitor that haunts the streets at night and attacks people when they're alone. I opened my living room door to a pretty alarming sight. The tall guy died, his body parts stuffed into black garbage bags. I have no idea what caused his death. Was someone in the house a visitor? I needed to start testing people, and fast. I went to go test Miss Scoliosis in the closet. She failed yesterday's test with perfect white teeth. If she fails again, there'll be no excuse. I'll have to consider her a visitor. They're dirty. Oh my god. Just like with her teeth, she had no idea how they got like that. She was out of excuses, and I was out of tests. I'm so sorry. Alright, first visitor kill in the books. Hopefully. I checked in with some of the other guys just to see what they had to say. This guy was a sports bettor that lost 30 mil in bets. 30 mil bullshit in debt. Yeah, that checks out. That checks out for sure. This guy kept spreading his crazy BS about how the sun was here to help us. Dude's a fucking lunatic. So with my first visitor kill in the books, I decided to call it a day. That night, FEMA was all over. They were checking out my neighbor's place for some reason. And they also came to my backyard to take away those corpses from last night. By the front, a large group of armed soldiers. I assumed they were there to keep the FEMA employees safe. Time to check who was knocking at the door. Oh shit. One of them was standing on my porch. I'm not letting you in. You can't come in here. Then he asked the question everyone said they'd ask. No, I'm not. Actually, I've got literally have 6 people in here. I was quite the opposite of alone at this stage. My house was bursting with people. That was enough to get him to leave me alone for now. And just like that, we survived our first encounter. Soldiers! Soldiers! Guys! He was right there! He was right there! You missed him! How did you miss him? Shortly after, Hugh Jackman came to my door, if he did meth instead of movies, saying he was a visitor hunter. I figure having someone like that in my house would be beneficial, so I let him in. After him was a sad bald man, and look, I'd be sad too, who'd said we met before, but I don't make friends with bald people, so I don't know what he was talking about. He asked me to help him tell his fortune by flipping to a random page in a book, and then disappeared. Didn't even ask to come in. He also gave me some kind of cryptic message to let in the woman with a cat. Hey, you don't have to tell me twice. If someone comes to the door with a cat, they're getting in. After that, I called it a night. Smells like someone died tonight. Oh my god. Again, someone died in my house, which makes me think that there was still a visitor in my walls. The news was now saying that red eyes were also a telltale sign of being a visitor, so that should help. Except that guy doesn't look like a visitor, it just looks like he's on some good shit. No! The mother. No! Oh my god, what is going on? I thought I got rid of all the visitors in the house, but I was pretty f***ed up when I found out it was the mom that passed. I still had strong suspicions about Cold Girl because she continued to refuse to take off the jacket and not tell me what was going on. I decided to check her fingernails for dirt, but what I actually found was a lot more disturbing. Jesus Christ. What the hell is wrong with you? She had no fingernails to speak of. She tore them off and provided no explanation. I guess that counts as a pass. Up next, of course, I had to check the guy that addresses me as human and thinks the sun is here to save everyone by burning the evil out of the world. But surprisingly, it turned out this guy had holes in his teeth bigger than the holes in my heart, so safe for now. Then I turned my attention to Sports Gambler here just because I hadn't tested him at all yet, so I asked him to show me his teeth as well. Oh god, you're definitely not a visitor. Christ, man. You need braces. You need whatever comes next in severity to braces. After checking on everyone and not being able to come to any clear conclusions, I decided to just give my neighbor a call and see what was going on with those FEMA guys poking around his house last night. He told me things were just as crazy over there, and one of the FEMA guys actually took one of his people straight out of his house. With everything going to hell, he had me make a promise to him, to keep his daughter safe if something were to ever happen to him. I agreed, of course. Then I head to bed, not knowing that I was about to have the craziest night so far. Oh my god. The first thing I saw was my neighbor's house, set ablaze, flames reaching high into the night sky. I had no idea what happened, but I can only hope they made it out safe. What? But that wasn't the only surprise I was in for that night. Oh god. That thing was back, holding a severed head while staring into my soul with his dark, evil eyes, wearing skin that didn't quite fit right. Could it be two midgets inside a human costume? Jesus. Why are they all at my house? Near the front, that whole squad of soldiers, dead in the street now, no doubt by the hand of the thing out back. Fittingly, the first person to knock on my door was a FEMA employee. Dude, there's a guy behind my house, did you not see him? Just like they did with my neighbors, they said they needed to take some of my people to quarantine to further test and investigate them. They ended up taking Coke Girl, so I guess that's okay. I was suspicious of her anyway. Oh, they took her, thank God. Next up was some Crystal Girl who said that my house had some bad vibes and dark energy. She did some readings on me without ever really letting me speak and then asked to come in. I promptly declined. If my house isn't vibey enough for you, then you can fuck off. But it might have been the biggest mistake I could have ever made so far. Oh no, oh please don't do that. I'm sorry. Oh god. After I finally got back from the toilet, I checked the door and saw my neighbor's daughter crying, distraught, freaking out. Visitors raided her house, killed her parent, and lit it on fire. I let her in, of course. Next up, the lady with the cat. The bald guy told me I had to let them in. She was freaking me out, but I'm not gonna let a cat spend the night alone out there. Yeah, oh, this has been the best decision I have made so far, hands down. No objection. I don't even care if she's a visitor. Look at the kitten! Yes! Yes, it's amazing. I love it so much. New cat, diarrhea, fires, visitors staring at me through the window. This has been a crazy night and I was excited to get some rest. The next big visitor sign, hairless armpits. Are these guys memeing me? Kitten? What did you find? I'm not sure if this gets revealed on a specific day or if the cat found this, but we now have access to a basement. Someone died though. No, my boy. My boy the sports bettor died though, and that makes me think that we still have a visitor somewhere inside our walls, but hey, if it wasn't a visitor, the loan sharks would have caught up with him. 30 mil in debt. Also, I gave Hugh Jackman a beer to tell me his story, but it wasn't really that interesting. I would have given him a beer to not tell me that story. The neighbor's daughter was understandably hysterical still, so I left her alone while I tested Wolverine. Actually not. They look fine. They're f***ed up though. What is wrong with your pupil? Mr. Frog-looking sun lover here asked me for a beer, and I gave him one just to shut him up, but it worked a little too well because he vomited and then proceeded to pass out on my washing machine. Oh, did you fucking asshole. And now I can't even test him because he's just fucking hammered. Of course I had to test Creepy Cat Lady. Those are perfect. Oh my god, dude, I think you're a visitor. 2 tests failed back to back now, perfect teeth and red eyes, but at this point I wasn't sure if killing her also meant losing the cat, so I wasn't quite ready to do that yet. Pick him up. Oh, he's so cute. I can walk with him around. This is amazing. Hard to tell if he likes it or not. Yeah, that's a real cat, alright. Day over, time for some rest. Outside my back window, a head stuck on a stick. Was this some kind of twisted message or sexual innuendo? Again, the night started with the visit from FEMA, wanting to take another person. They took the Sun Cult guy, even though I feel like they probably should have taken Cat Lady, but I'm just glad I don't have to deal with the both of them now. Ah, God, what do you want? Another creepy visit by my friend here who really needs to stop skipping arm day. He was just checking in again, making sure I wasn't alone, and after that, he left. Sean Evans came back with my chicken wing delivery, and told me it was good I had the cat, and that now I could do whatever I want with the lady. I'm gonna kill her. Next up was a guy that had big mafia energy, walking around in a suit, speaking in slang, talking like a real tough guy. My numbers were thinning as people kept dying, so I figured I'd let him in. Plus, as a bonus, he replaced the cat lady, who I was gonna kill anyway, so instead, she just gets kicked out onto the street. Do I keep the cat? Okay, good. Yeah, I kept the cat. Now the lady's gone. No more guests were coming tonight. I felt a lot safer now that Cat Lady was out of the house, so I decided to head to bed. The news said, due to the scorching heat getting worse, wildfires have started and are sweeping across the planet. They also gave us a new visitor sign. Dark spots when their aura is being photographed. Okay. On the radio were reports that the quarantine zone in the city nearby was under attack. Civilians down, burning buildings, explosions. The world really is going crazy. Jesus, yeah. Quarantine zones. Never trust them. What are you looking at, dude? Mafia guy here claims the world is too soft and humans aren't hard enough anymore. He says human morals like sympathy and care make it easier for the visitors to prey on us. I don't necessarily disagree. I photographed his aura as a test, which he really didn't like, but I didn't see anything wrong. I wanted to check Wolverine again just to be sure, but he flat out denied letting me photograph him. I wasn't super concerned about it because he passed an earlier test, but something to watch. It was only the three of us, so I used my final test to check on Mafia Guy one more time just to be sure. He showed me his golden whites, and even though he's kind of an asshole, at least I'm convinced that he's human. That's all for today. That night out my back window, a FEMA employee with a rifle stands over crowds of bodies. It looked like he massacred them. What the hell? Why'd you do that? Out my side window, large crowds of people were wandering the streets. They looked displaced or running from something. Oh my God. The whole city's burned to the ground. The whole city was gone, up in flames. This is where the crowd of people were coming from, fleeing from the city. Does this have anything to do with the quarantine attack we heard about on the radio? Nothing left to do but sleep. No one knocked that night. Reports of civil unrest are coming from the nearby city. There continues to still be no clear explanation for what visitors are or where they came from or what's going on, but studies are showing that visitors are humans that have just come in contact with an unknown biological agent. Again, I turned on the radio to find some Drake to play to wallow in my own sadness and doom, but instead I found out that they're shooting anyone trying to leave quarantine. I gave Meatball another test just to check his eyes and confirm he was in fact human, but he called me a good boy after. What are we? You just go back to your corner. You could go on timeout. I used my final test to check Wolverine's teeth, and yeah, those are some fucked up chompers, bud. Those teeth are getting a head start on social distancing, so I'm sure he's human. Did all I could for today, so hit the hay. Out back there was a guy with a gun, his jacket covered in things like teeth and eyes and ears. He must have been completely insane. Was he acting in self-defense or was he hunting for sport? The first guy to come to my door was in a FEMA suit, but no mask. He said he wasn't a part of FEMA, he just found the suit on a dead employee. He said if they wear one, shouldn't we? I guess that's a good point. And I bet you're wondering, what's Vex gonna say about this guy? He's ugly, he looks weird, you can call him Golem, you can call him Darth Vader under the mask. Well, guess what? He's a hero that fought fires in the local area and burnt up trying to save us. Yeah, don't you feel like an asshole now? I mean, I would roast this guy, but it seems like he's already been roasted. Okay, no, we're not doing this. That was in poor taste. Cut that out of the video. After that, I put myself in timeout and decided to call it a night. Many theories swirled about who was behind the quarantine zone attacks. Some say it was one individual. Some say it was a cult group wearing hoods. Alleged eyewitnesses on the radio say that whatever it wasn't human at all. I decided to use my tests on the new guy that came in with the FEMA suit. After photographing his aura, I found spots, but they were pretty light, and I feel like the suit could have been throwing it off too. The only thing is his story was continuously inconsistent. Like, he kept saying that he was trained on specific stuff, and while I believe he's human and harmless, I'm not buying that at some point he wasn't a part of FEMA. That's it for today, but as we get closer to the end, things are going to start to ramp up. Outside is still a large displaced population from the city. It looks like FEMA is trying to help them find housing, but no luck. FEMA was at my door again, and it's clear that they had less patience this time. But these guys have done f*** all so far, but take people and nothing's been fixed. I tried to just tell them to f*** off, but they took 2 people anyways. Oh my god. He took him anyway. Next, this insane cult showed up telling me that he needed me to help house their cult members or else he'd burn my house to the ground. He said they wouldn't harm anyone and they're not dangerous, but is this the same cult that burnt down the quarantine zone? I took their threat seriously because I figured these might have been the guys that burned down my neighbor's house earlier as well. I really didn't want to take the risk with everything going on, so I agreed. Then he showed up. Oh shit. That crazy guy I saw from my window before with fingers and ears as trophies hanging around his neck. He claims to be some sort of visitor purging vigilante. He doesn't hesitate, he just sees a sign and opens up. He said he's cleared himself multiple cities, multiple towns, multiple houses. I'm not sure if someone like this is helping or hurting the cause. He wasn't asking to come in, just checking to see if my house needed a purge. I managed to talk him away for now, but he said he'd be back. Yeah, you better get to stepping before I take your finger. Wait, what the hell did I just say? I'm losing my mind here, so calling it a night. The news only reported more mayhem. Not everyone who escaped the quarantine attack has been found yet. Cults popping up left and right, including ones that worship the visitors, and bleeding gums as a new sign of being a visitor. My first interaction with the cultists that I'm housing was actually pretty okay. I mean, they said they'd stay out of the way and behave. I actually think their cloaks are kind of sick too. I tested one of their guys and he came back okay, so no issues really. I continued to test FEMA suit guy just because he kept going back and forth on his story and I was suspicious of that. His eyes were red, sure, but his previous test with the aura passing and now this test with his teeth looking okay make me think he's actually human. Huh, maybe he just smoked some good shit, you know. Hey, as owner of the house, you have to share with me. Let's see how nighttime goes. Off to a bad start as my first guest was a visitor, him again, but he asked if I was alone again and I wasn't. I'm not that stupid, bro. He brought up an interesting point though, and that was that he's not the leader, he's just another one in the sequence of visitors. I still don't really know how the hierarchy works because we've had visitors in our house that don't know they're visitors, and then you've got guys like that that are just full-on visitor. Next up was a sweet southern lady who came to my door, and honestly, she was the most human person I've heard in a long time. It was just nice to talk to someone that actually felt kinda normal after all this, so I decided to let her in. Plus, what if I need a center for my pickup football game later? Oh, what the hell? What you got there? This chick came to my house looking exhausted and just done. On her back, she carried her dead husband who's been dead for a while. She said she doesn't want to let him go until she can get him a proper burial. Let this kind of love find me one day. She also had me kick out the FEMA guy in order to let her in, so kind of a win-win. I went to bed thinking I actually made some pretty good choices tonight. Smells like someone died tonight, oh god. Great call, Vex, you idiot. You let in a girl with a rotting corpse on her back. The news now cited skin irritation as a potential visitor sign, and I just really didn't give it anymore. Fires, droughts, and total system collapse were worldwide now. The radio continued to enforce that idea of complete system collapse being covered up by the government. God, am I ever gonna be able to hear music played on this thing? Like, can I just get one Shake It Off, please? I keep looking for music and instead getting depression. I told this guy he looked scared and he told me I was observant. Really? Do you not think you look scared? The cult has been peaceful so far, and it sounds like what they believe in is just that they need to accept death. I gave a test to the southern lady, and God knows I wasn't about to check her armpits, so I checked her teeth. Is everyone in this town chewing nickels for gum, or like what the hell is going on with everyone's teeth? Now to check on the neighbor's daughter. No! No! This one genuinely had me tweaking out, and I was about to burn down the whole place with everyone inside it. Somebody killed her. I immediately confronted blue-haired girl and dead boy, but everything looked okay with them. I pet the cat for emotional support, and then promptly went to go test more of the cultists. These guys turned out clean again, and I was out of energy to perform more tests. I figured I'd continue more in-depth testing tomorrow, but I'd never get the chance. Oh! What the hell is going on? I was having some kind of strange dream that night where doors were opening on their own, but I couldn't enter any of the rooms except my own. Oh, what the hell was that? Oh my god, what the fuck? What is happening? I have no idea what's going on here, why the doors are all busted off, where everyone went and what happened to them. But I knew this was the end and that I was alone now. Outside my front window, that crazy lunatic with the gun. In his hand, a Molotov. Was he gonna burn down this whole town? At the door was FEMA. They said the world was ending and demanded more people, but I didn't have anyone left to give, even if I wanted to. I don't have any people. I don't know what happened. Next was the cultist leader asking for his people, but boy did I have some bad news for him. Yeah, about that. So, funny story, you're not gonna believe this. I mean, the cat's here. One last knock on the door, and it was him. He asked me to prove to him that I wasn't a visitor myself. You could show my teeth? They're perfect. There was nothing else I could say to convince him. I wasn't even sure myself anymore. I'm not a visitor! I'm hit bad. Oh, yeah, he's gone. Hey, relax. Wow, I've lost it. Hey, thanks so much for watching. If you don't mind, I'm a new channel. One subscription goes a really long way with me right now, so if you have it in you, I'd really appreciate it. This was my first time trying a more narrative-driven gameplay, so if you liked it, please let me know below and I'll be sure to make more in the future. Thanks again. Till next time, won't be long. Vex out.